thing about how things were reported from the minute. And I know you disagree with me on this, Ruth, but from the minute Meghan entered this family, so before they were married, and the difference of when how the Duchess of Cambridge and the Duchess of Sussex are reported. So, for example, when Kate was pregnant and she was cradling her bump, it was all about, oh, isn't that wonderful? Look at her protecting the royal child. When Meghan did it, it was vain Meghan can't keep her hands off her bump. When we're talking about avocados, Prince William gifted an avocado to Kate because she loves avocados. Meghan was talking about avocados. Meghan's avocado linked to human rights abuse. And also, Carol Middleton wins Granny Award. Carol's won the award for getting the kids to spend Christmas with them. How lovely that they're sharing this. Doesn't the Queen deserve better than this when they try to serve their Christmas apart? So it just goes to prove, as I say, that they have been demonised from the work.
But also, Denise, I would come back to you on that. There's also been made a lot of links between racism towards Meghan. Now, listen...
I've never said about those,
but there's been a lot of links.
But now it seems you can't say anything about her without being labelled racist.
When they went on that private jet, you know, a lot of people were incensed about that because they said, you're preaching us about environmental awareness and that, but you're going on a private jet.
But they are the royal family,
hold on, but when
they
people...
have to travel privately, sorry.
OK, but the thing is...
They don't, but the other royals don't travel privately.
Because they don't have to.
They don't have to.
So when the public come out and say, well, you know what, I think that's a bit hypocritical, they can't then turn around and say to us, but hold on a minute, they can't say, well, that's racism because you're talking about Meghan in that way. It's not. We're talking about you as a couple because we don't feel what you did was right.
Yes.
So not everything...
But they're not having affairs with everybody like in the rest of the royal family. That's what gets me. We're talking about... We all have dysfunctional families to a degree, but we're talking about an incredibly dysfunctional family where these people are being demonised as if they've done something terribly, terribly wrong, whereas the family...
Panel, you could practically feel the whole studio shift. Because finally, someone on daytime television said what millions of people have been screaming into the void for years. Leave Harry and Meghan alone. Let them live their lives and be happy. No hesitation, no nervousness, just truth delivered with that trademark Denise Welch force. And the best part? The other women agreed. They backed her with that refreshing energy of... We're not entertaining this tired Meghan-bashing storyline anymore. You could almost feel the haters' blood pressure rising as she spoke. Denise didn't just speak. She unpacked the entire timeline of cruelty Meghan faced from the very first moment she stepped into that royal whirlwind. She reminded the audience how the press didn't even wait for Meghan to marry in. They went after her the second she entered that family. Every breath she took was dissected. The contrast Denise painted was so sharp it could slice steel. Kate cradled her pregnancy bump, and the media showered her with poetry about maternal elegance and protecting the royal baby. Meghan did the exact same thing, and suddenly she was vain, performative, breaking protocol, showing off. The hypocrisy was so loud, it echoed through every tabloid page. Then came the avocado madness. This was the delicious moment where Denise highlighted one of the most absurd parts of the smear campaign. So, Kate eats avocado. That's seen as cute, wholesome, nurturing. But Meghan eats avocado. Suddenly she's linked to human rights abuse and global environmental destruction. It's honestly wild. At this point, the double standards are practically a comedy show, except, it's rooted in racism, misogyny, and manufactured outrage. Denise didn't tiptoe around the truth. She said clearly that Harry and Meghan had been dehumanized. She even touched on just how dangerous this culture is, how it destroys lives, how Meghan was attacked for things that, honestly, other royals were praised for, how Harry was tormented for choosing to protect his wife and children. And she reminded everyone that Harry watched the press destroy his mother and was not going to sit quietly while his wife suffered the same fate. So, at one point, one of the panelists tried to interrupt Denise, really tried to drag the conversation into that usual both sides watered-down territory. But Denise was just not having it. She defended Harry too. She said Harry has been vilified for years for refusing to sacrifice his family to the same institution that failed him as a child. She said the world treats him as if he's committed some kind of crime when all he did was choose mental health, safety, and family over outdated royal expectations. And honestly, everyone watching knew she was right. Even the haters knew. They just can't admit it out loud because, well, it ruins their favourite storyline. And honestly, the humour in all of this writes itself. The way the tabloids obsess over Meghan, you'd think their entire business model collapses the moment she minds her own business. Meghan goes outside to get fresh air. Breaking news. Meghan closes her own car door. Historic protocol breach. Meghan sneezes. That sneeze will be connected to King Charles, his schedule, 3 unnamed sources, and a 1987 scandal that has nothing to do with anything. The obsession is embarrassing at this point. But beneath the comedy is something darker, and Denise didn't shy away from that. She exposed the machine that tried to break Meghan. The coordinated effort to turn the public against her. The way they weaponized her race, her background, her confidence, her independence. Denise called it out with the kind of clarity that silences a whole room. She also reminded viewers that Harry and Meghan aren't even in the United Kingdom anymore. They're not asking for attention, they're not inserting themselves into anything. They are in California, raising their children, working, thriving, and just, minding their own business. Meanwhile, their haters are still obsessed, waking up every single morning thinking about people who haven't lived in the same country for years. If that's not obsession, then, honestly, what is? In the end, Denise Welch did something rare. She used her platform responsibly. She defended 2 people who have been targeted relentlessly and unfairly. She said what the institutions around them refused to say. She reminded the world that Harry and Meghan are human beings. Not punching bags, not scapegoats, not characters in a tabloid fantasy. She said the truth plainly. Let them be, let them live, let them love, let them breathe. The way they've been treated is unacceptable and, honestly, the world needs to grow up and move on. Denise's voice cut through the nonsense like a knife, and for once, the room and the audience listened. Sometimes all it takes is one person refusing to play along with the narrative to change the entire conversation. Denise's refusal to stay silent didn't just end the debate, it started a ripple. Viewers at home, inspired by her conviction, began to question the headlines and challenge the vitriol. Her boldness reminded everyone that it takes courage to speak up, but even more to keep speaking when it's uncomfortable. In a world hungry for easy outrage, Denise's stand became a quiet call for more empathy, more honesty, and more humanity. The conversation may have ended on that stage, but the impact echoed far beyond, inviting others to find their own voice in the noise.